Hi guys, it's Amy and I'm actually here to talk about a specific topic today, which is very, very rare. But I've actually just come back from a 2-night stay in Bath, which is actually one of the most historic and named actually one of the most beautiful locations to visit in the UK. So for my overseas viewers, if you ever get the chance to go to Bath, it's beautiful. Today I wanted to talk about giving up and why you shouldn't. And this is actually specific mainly because I've seen so many tweets and Facebooks and various social networking sites talking about the prospect of giving up and how they believe, or this individual person believes, that they would rather give up than keep fighting. And so I'm here today to talk about why you shouldn't give up and why fighting for recovery is one of the most positive things you could ever do. People believe that giving up is actually really, really easy and it's the easy way out. But personally, it's actually one of the hardest things you're ever going to do to yourself. Giving up is something that is so simple to do. And not everyone does it, but a vast majority of people do, and unfortunately that leads to disastrous consequences, because by giving up you're not actually dealing with the problem head on, you're making it worse. And in the long run, if you're making it worse and worse, the faults are just going to fester, and things, they're not going to improve because you're not actually tackling the issue at hand here. I'm going to try and provide you with a few reasons about why you should be fighting, because I'm seeing way too much of this giving up stuff. And I'm not going to lie and say I've never thought about giving up. I've given up way too many times, but it is what enabled me not to give up, and I started fighting, and I'm here today talking to you from a place in which I feel able to talk to you about why you should fight and why you should get help and why you should progress forth onto a journey. Recovery has hurdles and recovery has obstacles, because unfortunately life is not a box of chocolates. No, wait, that's not the right saying. That's the wrong saying. What I meant to say was life is not a bed of roses, but it came out in chocolate form, because life's not a bed of roses. And if life was simple, then it'd actually be pretty boring, and life has twists and turns and obstacles that we all have to overcome. When they do get a little bit too much, it's very, very simple to say, I might as well just give up here. But we were given a life to embrace, and we were given a life because it's challenging. It's actually full of quite fun challenges, I believe. Maybe recovery is not a very fun challenge to do, but it's something that will really, really push you forward and keep you motivated in recovery. Setting yourself goals day by day will really, really push you forward in this. For example, tomorrow I will tell my therapist this. I will open up with my family. I will eat a little bit more on my recovery plan today. I will try not to over-exercise today. Goals. They are so, so important. And I think a lot of people, especially when starting recovery, set goals that are way too high. And then that enables them to crash. So for example, if you're in eating disorder recovery, if you set yourself, if you're an anorexic and you set yourself a meal plan at the beginning of your recovery of 2,000 calories a day, that's clearly not going to happen, because you can't go from nothing to succeeding. It doesn't work like that. And that's what the obstacles are all about. That is what life is all about. And so I believe that instead of trying too hard and pushing yourself to recover straight away, because that is definitely unrealistic, setting yourself goals for every single day. Even if it's just one thing in the day, wake up and say, today I'm going to do this because it's going to be positive for me and it's going to be positive for my recovery. Even if you're really not feeling up to it, you'd actually notice a significant amount of difference. Also, you have to make sure that whilst in recovery you are getting the support that you need, because if you're not getting support around you, then yes, you are probably more likely to want to be giving up, because there's no one around to have that ongoing effect and uplifting effects on you. So for example, therapy family, psychiatrists, doctors, people around you who can support. It's also very, very important that you have a good relationship with those people. And if you don't, and I see so many people complaining about the therapist that they have, then change. Don't be afraid to change, because it took me absolutely years before I found a therapist that I felt comfortable with and who I could open up to and who can trust. And the one I had after that, I still didn't like her at all. Like, it takes a lot for me to be able to open and engage myself with somebody. If you're on medication, I would definitely also combine that with the therapy. Obviously, whatever mental health problem that you have, it's going to be different for each individual person, but at the same time, I actually saw a tweet, must have been a few weeks ago, about how they were now on Prozac, and then they thought it was going to magically make them happy again and they wouldn't need therapy anymore, and it just doesn't work like that. I had to tell them it really doesn't work like that. The Prozac and like other medications, Zopiclone, whatever, that you may be on, are used to stabilise your mood, and so you are in a stabilised frame of mind to then continue with therapy, and then that kind of balances that out. It's not, oh, I'm just going to take a pill and I'll be fine again. It really isn't how that works. And so if you're engaging in both of those things, and I know they don't work for everybody, and I'm not saying that you should be engaging in therapy and you should be taking drugs, because some people can recover just as well on their own with the whole goals thing that I was talking about. But, you know, if that does fail, therapy, you know, maybe medication, and taking it slowly. Don't rush yourself into things. Rushing yourself into things is probably the reason why most people give up so quickly. Either that, or, you know, if you've been in a negative frame of mind for so long, like I'd probably, like, you know, I developed an eating disorder when I was 12. I started self-harming when I was 12. I kind of developed mild depression along the age of 12. But I had negative self-thoughts and self-belief from much younger than that. Like, from the moment I knew how to feel anything, I'd felt negative thoughts and feelings. And that negativity stemmed right through me until, I suppose, now, really, because when I overdosed 2 years ago, that was my rock bottom for me. That was my, okay, Amy, you kind of need to sort your life out now. And yes, I did rush myself way back into things, because when you've had that period of negativity for so long, and people like me who had it since childhood, like very, very young childhood, will find it extremely, extremely difficult. And that is why it takes time, and you need to persevere with that. You cannot expect recovery to happen overnight, which it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. You have to be patient. You have to just persevere with it. Also find that people decide to give up when something goes wrong, or like that there's something, like that if they've had like a minor relapse throughout the day. Relapses are actually part of recovery, and they're actually, sounds weird to say this, but in my opinion I actually think that they're quite important, because it enables you to deal with problems as they arise in a more constructive way. So for example, when I was recovering, if I went through a period of self-harming, relapsing, it was kind of the way that I got round that enabled me to recognise that I was recovering, and, you know, not falling back into old behaviours per se, maybe using it as a coping mechanism, but not really falling back and progressing forward. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people give up. They slip up slightly and then they just kind of crash. And it's not about that, it's about identifying the problem, like I was mentioning in my last video. Identifying the problem and actually working around that. What it is, what can I do about it? Again, that's another reason why a lot of people try or want to give up with recovery. I think life is bloody hard, but I also think that it's really, really important to have these challenges and goals. And obviously none of us like having a mental health problem. I still struggle even now, and a lot of people seemingly believe that I am recovered completely. It's rubbish, because I don't really think I'll ever be fully recovered. I don't really know what I imagine recovered to be, but I am the happiest now that I've been in a very, very long time, and that's because I just worked and worked hard in trying to be happy, not letting other things get in my way, such as school and education and work. I took time out from all of that and concentrated on the one thing, because education and health and work can wait. You need your health, you need your mental health. It's just one of the most important things, because you can't work and you can't perform academically if you're not functioning. Perseverance. Yeah, giving up with recovery would be one of the hardest things you would ever do to yourself if you did. And for all of those out there, and you know who you are, whose tweets I've seen, please don't give up, because I will help you every step of the way. But it's also about the attitude you have as well. You have to have a positive attitude towards recovery, and that's why things such as the goals and the bucket list, all those kind of things, and the Book of Awesome are really, really, really important, because they help you keep you on that track. I'm going to leave it there for today. I really hope that kind of helped, because the last thing I want to see is anybody giving up on recovery, because it's one of the most phenomenal things that could ever happen to you. And living with a mental health problem is so hard, but giving up would actually be even harder. And I want to leave you guys with that today. I hope you remember that, and keep fighting, and I'm here for all of you if you need me. So yeah, I'll be back soon with a new video. I love you guys.